What's up, everybody out there in YouTube land and in the vinyl community watching? Kindle Stokes coming to you with a video for the Spin Doctor and his Vinyl Mayhem YouTube channel. Today, gonna do a video about why do I own 2 copies of these records. And this is actually based off of a contest that's going around. And honestly, I was going to do this video before I even saw the contest, but the contest just kind of spurred me on because I've seen all these videos going around, and so I thought, you know what, let me go ahead and do this. Ricken Records is doing this contest called the Double Down Contest. He's trying to get to 300 subscribers, and he's asking people to show at least 5 records that people have doubles of, and explain why they have the doubles of these records. And I have more than 5 here. But the point of me doing this is I was like, okay, you know, why do I need 2 copies of these records? And so I'm like, all right, let me show these records and explain why I have 2 copies of these records. Because some people out there are a little eccentric and crazy and have multiple copies of tons of different records. And I know people out there that aren't vinyl lovers or record lovers look at people like me or other people out there that have so many copies and go, are you crazy? Why do you have so many? Well, this is why certain people, like myself, have more than 1 copy of a certain record. And so I'm gonna get into it with this first record. And this first record I've shown a million times. It's probably the most showed record in all of my videos. I said shown record in all of my videos. And it's this one here. It's the Eric Clapton Unplugged. So I'll be brief about it. Here I have my original German pressing from 1992, and I have the Mobile Fidelity Ultra Disc One Step. I've said it millions of times before, this is my all-time favorite album. Eric Clapton's my all-time favorite musician. This record, one of the first albums I ever bought with my own money. I love everything on this record. It was never released on vinyl in the US, only in Europe and South America. This is a near mint copy of a German pressing. However, the German pressing is missing 1 song. It's missing the Rolling and Tumbling outtake at the very end. This plays and sounds amazing, I'm not gonna lie. So did I really need the Ultra Disc One Step? Probably not, but when something's your favorite, you want to see if something can outdo and sound better than the original. And Mobile Fidelity obviously has a following of sounding better than the originals. Now obviously everything went down with Mobile Fidelity, and we know it's not all analog and all that kind of stuff. Whoop-de-doo. They still sound great. This is 2 LP, 45 RPM, and I know some people say it doesn't sound that great. It doesn't sound as good as, I think it's the Chris Bellman cut from 2012 or whatever. I haven't heard that pressing. I've heard this one. I think it sounds amazing. I mean, probably if not the best, one of the best records I own in my collection. And when something's your favorite, you want the best. I think it sounds amazing. It also has the outtake at the very end of Rolling and Tumbling. I love this record. I wanted a superb, clean, outstanding copy of it, so I went and I splurged, the most I probably spent on a record, for this Ultra Disc One Step, and I'm glad I did. Love it. So that's why I have 2 copies. I have an original, which I think is amazing to be able to say that I own an original, and I have this. So I'm gonna keep both because this is a sentimental record to me. Sentiment has a lot to do with collecting vinyl records. So that's why I have 2 copies. Maybe one day I'll even try the Chris Bellman 2012 cut. Again, I think it's Chris Bellman. I could be wrong. Next, and this one's gonna sound, I have 2, well, I'll get into it. I have the Jimi Hendrix Experience, Are You Experience. I have, this is an original on Reprise. It's the Tricolor label. And this is the George Romero cut from 2012 or 14. Anyway, both stereo copies, both sound amazing. One of the best classic rock records of the 60s, no doubt about it. Jimi Hendrix, amazing guitar player, amazing records. I know Analog Productions has the UHQR. I don't feel like spending $125 on a record that I just really like, not really love. This copy right here is getting harder and harder to find. The original's on Tricolor. I think I didn't spend a ton of money on it, but you know, I bought it years ago. And now that they're getting harder and harder to find, I'm like, okay, I want to keep this, you know, as clean and as in good a condition as possible, and only listen to it every once in a while. This is my go-to listen to all the time copy, which by the way, you can normally find these for like less than 20 bucks. And guess what? They still sound really, really good. I remember some people were doing shootouts of this and the UHQR, and some people were saying this sounds as good, if not better than the UHQR. And for the price, you know, 125 bucks to 20 bucks, what's the better, you know, what's better? So anyway, that's why I have two copies. One, because it's an original, harder to find, and one because it's cheap and it's an easy My Listener copy. So next I have, what do you know, another Jimi Hendrix. This one is Axis Bold as Love. Again, I have an original on the Tricolor label, which is even harder to find than the Are You Experienced, because this was only in print for a very short time. And again, the George Romero. This is actually a mono copy. I want to get a stereo as well, because this is a stereo. But again, hard to find, super clean copy, starting to become worth more money. Don't want to wear it out. Listener copy. So again, less than 20 bucks. You know, and then of course the UHQRs it was like the first UHQR I think Analog Productions did, and you can't even find them, and when you do, they're like 500 bucks, I think. So anyway, that's why. Great album though. All right, now this one, I showed this in my soundtrack video a while back. I'm a huge Muppets fan. I talked about it then. The Electric Mayhem, Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem. There were two variants of this record. There was the regular, and then there was the Target exclusive. Now, my wife, also a huge Muppets fan, Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem. This is a fun record. There's some original songs, and that were written for the show, and then there's some great covers on here. And so I knew it was one that I wanted to have. So I bought it, then saw that there was this Target exclusive, and this is all about the color variants. So there's this copy here that looks like this, and I'll be honest with you, when described, I thought it was going to look cooler. It's kind of clearish purple and blue swirl or splatter, whatever you want to call it. It looks better with something in the background. This is my listener copy. And you're thinking, oh wow, you need a listener copy? Well, for this I do. But the Target exclusive, I think looks cooler, so it's one that I have on display that I don't want to ruin. And it looks like this. It's called Psychedelic Green, and that's just really cool looking. And obviously for Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem, you know, you want that psychedelic look. And to me, that's just really, really cool looking. And so this is the one that I have on display. And just so you know, my wife is the one that was like, we're getting 2 copies of that album. I was like, don't have to tell me twice. So it's nice when your wife can feed into your obsession with collecting vinyl. Now this one, this is my favorite Beatles record. I've showed this a couple times as well. Sgt. Pepper's. Love, love, love this album. One of my all-time favorites. It was in my top 10, I believe. This is the 2017 stereo mix by Gerald Martin that came out. One of the first I bought. This, however, is an original UK mono on the Parlophone label, if you can see that. Everyone always says when you're going Beatles records, mono is always the way to go because that's the way they mixed them. They always mix their albums for mono not stereo. And this is the way to listen to this record. Now this sounds great, but you know, this album also is getting very pricey as well. I was very excited to find this record when I did. I think I got it at an auction, and I actually didn't really overpay for it, I don't think. The album itself is in really good condition. I mean, it's got wear because, I mean, let's face it, it's like 60 years old. But just very excited to have this. So when I want to listen to it, depends on what kind of mood I'm in. I might listen to the stereo mix, or I might listen to how the Beatles had envisioned it, this mono mix. But I also want to make sure that I take care of this copy, because these are not always the easiest to find. Again, when something's your favorite, you want the best, and it's okay to have two, especially if they're different. Stereo, new mix, mono, or original mix. And again, it's UK, so better quality. So that's why I have two copies of this. I know, again, some people are going, well, that's just stupid, why? It just is, it is what it is. Now this right here, again, my favorite Tom Petty record, Full Moon Fever. This is my original. These are getting harder and harder to come by as well. It's in really good condition. This is the 2021 Chris Bellman cut, I believe it is as well. It's on colored vinyl, actually, of all things, blue. It's got that little hype sticker there that says it as well. This is all analog. I remember them making a big deal about that when this came out, all analog, you know, cut from the tapes. And they say this is the best sounding copy of this record. Now this copy sounds amazing, I'm not gonna lie. This copy sounds great too. So it's another one of those things of, do I want to wear out my original, or do I want a really great affordable copy that I can listen to and keep my original in great condition? You know, these are actually starting to go up in value too, but I got a really great deal on this. So, you know, I kind of lucked out on that. So again, it's my favorite, didn't overpay for it. So listen to this copy, keep this one in great condition, and just break it out to show people, I guess. I don't know. But, you know, it's cool to have originals that are, you know, kind of worth money, but just, you know, to be like, hey, I have an original, that's cool, let me put it on display, you know, and listen to it every once in a while and compare. So yeah, that's why I have two of these. Now the next two are a little bit different. So here we go. I have this right here, Carole King Tapestry. Now Carole King Tapestry, maybe the biggest selling album in 1971, won a bunch of awards. This album really reminds me of my mom, actually. She loved this album. She played it a lot. And why not? This album's great. On Rolling Stone's top 500 albums of all time. I think it's even in the top 100 albums you need to hear before you die, I think. You know, you look at the track listing on this album and you think it's a greatest hits album. And yeah, it's just great. And so I very excited when I saw that Mobile Fidelity put this thing back in print. I know they did an Ultra Disc one step of this, you know, and those are like $125, I think. I think they're out of print now, but so on the aftermarket they're probably a little more expensive. This is an original on Ode Records. You know, people say this wasn't a great sounding record to begin with. You know, I think this was one of the first records I got when I started collecting, just because it's a staple in every record collection. Yeah, I think I paid like $4 for it. Mobile Fidelity just reissued this again. You can get on their website for like $40, and it sounds great. It sounds absolutely great. You know, it's dead quiet vinyl. You know, what more could you ask for? It's absolutely phenomenal. Like I said, when I was a kid, I thought this album was a greatest hits album just because I heard all these songs on the radio all the time. And so, yeah. So, upgrade copy is why I have this one. And it was a great price. So, you can't go wrong with that. I don't need the Ultra Disc 1 Step, sorry. And, you know, you happy with this, because this is still a high quality copy of this record. You know, $4, $40, I know it makes a difference. But sound quality wise, this definitely outshines this one. And you know, we also got 50 years difference in the making. So, and last but certainly not least is another great record that I have. Again, Eric Clapton is my all-time favorite artist. Slow Hand, probably his biggest album. A lot of great tracks on this one. RSO, this is an early reissue. This is the Mobile Fidelity, came out in 1980, I think, so it's technically all analog from what I hear. I think I paid like $7 for this when it came, you know, like a while back. This, I don't remember what I paid for it, but I got a good deal on it. It's used. It's not brand new, but it's in really good condition. The vinyl is, the cover not as much, but this is one of those ones where I'm like, okay, it's one of my favorite records. I want to see if there's really a difference in quality of sound. So I went ahead and I bought it. And I'll be honest with you, I think there is. I had to go back and listen to this one again to really compare, but it's one of those things, you want to try to get the best of something that's your favorite. Upgrade copies. This is an upgrade copy of this record. Cheap record, not as cheap, but still. Upgrade copy. You want the best when you can get the best. And Mobile Fidelity of Slow Hand, I've been told is one of the best, so I figured I'd give it a whirl. And it sounds really good. It sounds really good. And again, this is one of the early Mobile Fidelities. This came out in 1980. So, you know, I was very excited to be able to add this to the collection. And so now I have 2 copies of Slow Hand. Now, that's not to say that maybe one day I won't get rid of some of these doubles, but for the time being, I will not, just because these are great albums that I want in my collection. I want to compare. And, you know, like I said, when you like something so much, sometimes you want doubles just so something doesn't wear out. Anyway, that's my thought process. Let me know what your thought process is. Let me know records that are doubles in your collection, maybe triples, quadruples. I know there's some people out there that have multiple copies, more than just 2. Anyway, guys, thanks for sticking with me in this video. It did run a little bit long, but also go check out Ricken Records, help him get up to 300. Leave me like, comment, subscribe, give me a thumbs up, all that good stuff. Until next time, I will see you down the road. Bye.